Building Advisory and Appeal Board meeting to order. Would everyone please stand for the flag salute? Zach, would you do the roll call, please?
Be happy to. Commissioner McCall. Commissioner McCall, you say present.
Present.
Great. Commissioner Gordy.
Present.
Commissioner Spear.
Present.
Commissioner Corbett.
Zach, do we have any oral communication?
None on off the agenda items.
I'd like to move to item number 1, election of the chairperson for the Building Advisory and Appeals Board. I would like to open the floor to the board to nominate a chairperson.
Nominate Barry Spear for the position.
Voting is open. You can vote with the touch screen in front of you by hitting the refresh button and then selecting your vote and then selecting submit. Motion approved. 4-0.
At this point, I would like to turn the meeting over to Chairman Spears.
I'd like to thank my board members. I will lean heavily on our contact to help me out here as we get going. Item number 2 is our next order of business. So I'd like to open for nominations for vice chairman.
Again, I would like to nominate Scott McCall.
And any of you are allowed to second. Voting is open. Motion approved, 4-0.
We will move on to item number 3.
Could I just remind everybody, the microphones, you have to be very close to the mic to have it pick up your voice, and we do want to get an audio recording of this appeal, so if everybody, when you speak into your mics, could speak right close to it, we'd appreciate it.
Okay, item number 3 is next, and we have a staff presentation. First, are we ready for the staff presentation?
Again, Chair Spear, I apologize, but I believe that the order of business was that the appellant was going to go first on this. He has the...
Is the appellant here and ready to present?
Hello, hi, my name's Tony Strauch. Thank you for seeing us today. Before we begin, I have a question, and maybe someone can explain to me exactly how this process works, because I pulled up the Building Advisory Board section under Chapter 6, Building and Building Regulations, and under 6-11.8.4, I believe that describes how this hearing works. Is that not correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so, but I think I just heard you say that I was going to go and then that the city staff was going to make a presentation? Is that correct?
That's how we have it ordered at the time. The chair does have, the board does have the discretion to change that. There's a reason to.
To change what?
The order of go.
But there is no order. I don't see anywhere in here where it says they're going to give an oral presentation.
Staff,
What's that?
staff does have the opportunity to present their.
Oh, okay. interesting, because it says, the building director shall present a written report concerning the appeal, a copy of which shall be delivered to the appellant no later than the hearing date. And then it says, at the time of the hearing, by the appeal board, the appellant or his or her legal representative shall be heard by the board. So where does it say that they're going to? Because how would I know? I thought the whole purpose of them giving me a report is so I know what to present against that.
I believe you've received the written report.
Yes, and I'm prepared for that, but I didn't know I'm going to have to deal with other issues. Just like
You
I,
have the right to present your appeal, and the city will present their staff report to the board.
it doesn't say that. So where can I find those rules? It's very important.
That's not how, this
Is
is
it,
your
do you
opportunity.
have rules somewhere, or do
This
you
is
make
your
them?
opportunity to present your case to the board, so I suggest you begin presenting.
I'm just asking, is there some other place I can see the rules?
These are rules.
Those are the rules. So, as a city attorney, can you tell me where it says that they're supposed to give oral argument? Because it does not say that. It says
I'm
just the
telling
opposite
you
of that.
That this is your opportunity to present your appeal to the board. You have a certain amount of time in which to do that, and I suggest you continue to do
How much time do I have?
You have 27 minutes and 30 seconds remaining.
Oh, I was told I had 10 minutes.
I believe,
Actually, you were notified yesterday. I remember we sent an email, 30 minutes.
Okay, but where does it say here that so the city gave a 240-page report, and I'm supposed to have 10 or 30 minutes to respond to that? Is that
Yes.
correct?
this is not an opportunity for you to ask the city attorney questions. This is your opportunity to.
Okay, well, I want it on record then that this is not what your rules say, and I would have had a legal representative here if I knew you were going to change the rules from what is posted on there. So should we continue this so I can have legal representation?
Are you making a formal request to continue the hearing?
I guess so, until I can find out the real rules of the hearing, because I went off base what I found here, which you just said are the rules. So yes, if these are not the rules and it's going to be operated differently, I would request.
We are operating within the code and within the city's rules, and you have an opportunity to present your appeal to the board, and we are offering you that opportunity right now.
So I'm asking, am I allowed to have an extension time then? Because obviously I need legal representation, which I thought I was just going to present to them based on the 270-page report.
You are presenting, you have the opportunity to present your case. Staff will have an opportunity to present
And
their.
then do I get to go back over what they say?
That is up to the discretion of the board.
Well, how can they then say stuff that I can't go back and?
I am not here to debate with you. You have an opportunity to present your appeal to the board.
What would be the next available date we could continue this to?
I do not know. Don't believe we have that information. We would have to go back and take a look at that.
Okay, well, I think that's what we probably need to do then.
I'd like to just request a brief recess for a moment so that we can discuss the request for continuance.
And I'm sorry, but thank you.
Chair, if you could just state that there's a recess.
We will now have a recess.
Excuse me, would I be asking the chair for a continuance or the city attorney?
We're in recess, so let's wait. the
Okay,
return.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Chair Spear, would you mind reconvening the meeting?
All right, we are now reconvening the meeting.
In deliberation, and I'll be speaking to this item, Tony, thank you. In deliberating this with the Assistant City Attorney and the City Attorney, the board will have the option, if you wish, to proceed with having this meeting take place currently, or if you want to postpone it to a future time. The code, as you referenced, is silent on the issue as to whether or not staff can present, so staff is still permitted to present, but given the concerns that have been addressed of maybe wanting legal representation, we want the board to be able to make the determination if we'd like to reschedule a meeting for him to come back with representation at that time. The only thing is we don't know the exact availability of commissioners at this present moment, so this would take a matter of weeks in order for us to reschedule a meeting and post it within the context of the Brown Act. So,
And I understand, and I apologize for that, but I think it's best under this situation.
and then I'll leave it to the board's discretion to ultimately their determination.
Question, if I could ask you before the board makes that decision, and that is, I know a concern, we're here to help you.
I appreciate that, and I hope so.
And-
Yes, and I thank you.
What I understood to be your concern was the order of the presentations. My question is, can we alter the order so that we have the city staff report prior to the appellant speaking?
Yeah, and that is completely up to the chair's discretion. And in full context, and when communicating with the appellant regarding this, initially he was informed that staff would be presenting first and he would be presenting second. After discussion amongst the attorney's office, then he was notified that he was going to give the opportunity to present first and then have staff go second. So it's ultimately up to the chair's discretion, the order of business. So that could either be modified currently at this meeting or at the future meeting if it's rescheduled.
Yeah, in the spirit of just trying to get everybody happy and make things work, would that make a difference for you?
I really appreciate that, and I'll add a little bit to it before you make your decision. So I've been requesting for weeks information from staff and city attorney's office in order to find out in the background of all this. And I finally had to go and submit a PRA in order to try and get the information, which I have the legal right to do. And because I was told that they wouldn't give it to me prior to the hearing, and I've told they won't give me some of it anyway. But today, at 1 o'clock, all of a sudden, I get some of the documents. And so I haven't even had a chance to go through those to even begin to address them. So I'm not going to say why they probably came at 1 o'clock today, but this has been a 2-year process that as we go through things, once I am able to present, I think it will actually shock the board. But to be put in this position now and take my one opportunity to actually address the board, to have individuals who aren't involved in this make a decision, I really believe I need to have it done properly and right and prepared with the documents they just got as well. So I would respectfully ask, I want this solved more than anyone. I've been trying to get this resolved for 2 years, but I would respectfully ask that we could continue this so I could do that.
The board will answer the question. Thank you for your perspective. I assume the answer to the question is it might make a difference, the order that we present or have the presentations if we go ahead and present today.
I don't even know, because the order of it is, you know, I was, by the code section, it stated that they would do a written report and I would orally respond to it and provide documents. And that's what I was going to do. So if they make an oral report too, then I have to be able to prepare to that, because unfortunately, and it's going to sound horrible, but as we go through this, you will see what has been done by some individuals.
We can discuss all that if we get to
You're
that point, right?
I'm sorry.
The question right now is, and this I guess is the board's discretion. to make
Correct.
this determination.
Correct.
So I will now put it before the board. If there's any discussion about this, then we can go ahead and make a motion regarding the question. And the question is whether to continue this hearing or whether to conduct it today. So any discussion on this board?
Well, personally, I have a set of documents from the appellant and a set of documents from the city that I spent a considerable amount of time this week reviewing. So I'm here at this meeting, and now it's a surprise that I think not everybody's prepared for. I guess my question would be, is your case not already presented in the appeal documents that you provided?
Absolutely not. We had to respond to 240 pages that the city just produced.
Okay.
And so I have an additional couple hundred pages.
And those are not a part of the file at this moment?
No, they're the backup for the filing and what was presented in the 240 pages from the city. And so I would like to be able to get those put together and given to you, especially with what was provided today as well at 1 o'clock,
Okay.
which I haven't had the opportunity to obviously do.
Any other comment or question from the board regarding the matter?
Oh, and Mr. Corey, do you mind speaking to the microphone?
I don't know what are the documents that the gentleman received at 1 o'clock today, and if he received documents only today, I think it's not fair to put him in a situation to respond to those documents without evaluating and studying them.
Can we ask the city what was presented today? Was it a voluminous?
Yeah, I wasn't involved in that specific transfer document, so I'm not entirely sure. It was just a public records request, you said it was submitted?
Yes,
And
right.
you received the documents today?
Correct. Some of them. I haven't even had a chance to go through them all.
I can look into it. If you give me one moment, I'll log into our system and find out exactly what it was.
Thank you.
While that's taking place, are there any other comments?
Question, so appellant can formally request continuance?
Yes, you're permitted to make that motion.
Does it have to be formal request direct from the appellant for that, or?
No,
How would that
it
work?
would be an action of the board that would be actually determining whether or not we're continuing this to a later date.
Okay.
So after we discuss the matter and after we ask the questions, then we presume that a member of the board will make a motion one way or the other. Any other discussion or questions?
Again, I apologize having everyone come here for this. I would like to get this over as much as anyone, but it needs to be done properly, and I'm sorry.
So my apologies, I'll speak to this real quick. So the initial request was the names of all persons present for the search that were done under search warrants September and October 2024 at the property located at 325-333 North Beach Street. Copy of all notes, reports, photos, videos, findings of each person present. Part of those documents were released today, but they're also releasing additional ones at a later time because they're still under review. So the amount of documents disclosed at this time were a number of documents provided.
So it was simply a request for documentation, is that
Correct. Yeah, the formal request was names of all persons present in the search, and copies of all notes, reports, photos, videos, findings from each person present.
I have a question. Do I understand that there are still some documents that they have not received yet?
Yes, but this is pertaining to a public records request that it appears was submitted related to the issue at hand, and this was separate technically from the appeal. It's just a formal public records request process. They received some of those documents today, and it appears as though they're going to receive more in the future.
And can I ask, when did they submit their request for those documents?
Yeah, that submitted on November 6th, 2024, and they received November 6th, one of us.
So it took 2 weeks to receive some of them, and more to be received later.
Correct, as I'm reading through the audit trail.
I will go ahead, if there's no more discussion about the topic, I will go ahead and make a motion. Because the nature of the information that was presented was simply a request for information and it didn't involve conclusions, in the nature of helping you and the board members that had met and prepared to meet, I make a motion that we go ahead and hear the issue today.
Wow.
Is there a second? Okay. Does anyone have a different motion?
Given that there is other information that doesn't seem directly related to this appeal, but it could be connected, I'm leaning towards reconvening the meeting in order to make a decision of the board. whether that's next week or something. I still would like to hear the case of the appellant because we're all here together. But as far as making the decision, I wouldn't mind if we push it to another meeting.
Are you making a motion?
Yes.
Okay, so the motion is to continue the hearing to a later date. Is that correct?
The motion would be to continue the hearing at the moment, yeah.
And for clarification, then if that were to be the case and it receives a second, we would not hear the appeal at this present moment. We would have the appeal heard at the next meeting because there may be other commissioners who may be present for that meeting and they would need to hear the appeal.
I have a question. Assuming for the sake of assumption, we went ahead and heard today, does that still give them a chance to come back later on and
No, if a formal decision is made by the board, then that would be the determination of this body, and then there is a potential appeals process to the city council following this. So that would be the next opportunity.
so there is no legality to come back and say, hey, you took a decision without us reviewing everything we had to review?
Correct. So if the Building Advisory Appeals Board were to make a decision to approve or deny the appeal, that would be the final decision of this body, and then any further action would be at the city council.
I second the motion to postpone.
Voting is open. And two of the votes have not come through. Merrick and Barry, would you mind trying one more time? I have our votes from Scott. I'm sorry, George and Merrick. I got yours, Barry. I've got Scott, I got yours. Just waiting for George and Merrick. Would you mind? Make sure. Motion approved, 2-1, Spear, no, McCall abstain. So this item will be continued to a later hearing. We will have to convene the board and we'll have to work with their schedules to find a new time. That'll be in the coming weeks, and given holidays next week, I do not anticipate a meeting happening next week, but within the coming weeks.
Thank you, and I apologize, and I look forward to being able to present to you in the future. Thank you very much.
All that is next, Chair Spear, is just to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned.